Am I the asshole for believing the housekeeper over my son? We hired a housekeeper that comes over several times a week to get the house clean since my husband and I are busy with work. We have 2 kids, Jeremy 16 and Raya 14. Now Jeremy is a jokester. He likes pulling pranks on everyone in the house. And that included the housekeeper. He did stuff like throw her purse, hide her wallet and got punished for it, then told to not do it again because our housekeeper almost quit and we didn't WANR that. Now onto the current situation. Some days ago I got a call from Jeremy while he was having friends over telling me he saw the housekeeper sneak one of my jewelry into her purse and asked me to come home immediately. I freaked out and tried to call my husband but he didn't pick. I went home and was mad. I talked to the housekeeper and she denied putting anything in her purse. I demanded to see her purse and my jewelry was there. The housekeeper started swearing on her children that she didn't put it in there and had no idea how it got there. I believed her and figured Jeremy had something to do with it given his history. I switched my attention towards him and had him explain to me exactly how he saw our housekeeper do it. He told me what he saw, but a friend of his came forward and said that he saw Jeremy put the jewelry inside the lady's purse and was trying to get her in trouble. Jeremy yelled at his friend, then told me it was just one of his pranks, but I was furious. I kicked the rest of his friends who covered for him out and I punished him hard and apologized to the housekeeper. My husband reacted unexpectedly after he heard and said that I was wrong for choosing to believe the housekeeper over our son even though there was a witness, but he said his friend must have said this to get him in trouble or because the housekeeper paid him to side with her, which was shockingly absurd of him to say. He said I was not being a good mother and my first instinct is to always believe my son in whatever he says. AMD never ever question him in front of his friends like that. I'm confused. Did I mess up? Not the asshole. Your son doesn't pull pranks. He is a mean bully. Your housekeeper needs to straight up quit. Holy shit. You've allowed her to be bullied and abused by your son, who your husband is deliberately turning into a spoiled and entitled brat. Not the asshole for believing your housekeeper, but you didn't believe her over your son. You let him accuse her, questioned her, and the only reason that she's really off the hook here is because your son has a friend who's slightly less of an asshole than he is, who came forward. There's something deeply wrong with your family dynamic, and I really hope that your housekeeper removes herself from it ASAP. House cleaner here. This is horrific. We already take so much pride in our clients trusting us enough to be in their homes and personal spaces. Your son has issues that require serious therapy. This is not a joke, or a prank. This is something that could have cops involved, could ruin your cleaner's personal and business reputation and cause legal action against them. Not the asshole. And honestly, cleaners already deal with enough. We scrub crusted shit off the sides of toilets. Your son needs to have respect. Start making him and your husband clean the damn house until they can respect who comes in and does it for you. Not the asshole. As a good mother, your instinct should be to raise your kids to be responsible adults, not to just believe everything they say. Jeremy is cruel, and hiding it behind pranks. The housekeeper is very lucky that Jeremy's friend was honest, and he's a brave kid for being honest about it. Your husband is just going to keep enabling Jeremy. But your first instinct was to believe your son. Not the asshole, but if I were the housekeeper, I'd resign if circumstances permit. Not the asshole, but you raised one. Not the asshole. But now you have to recognize that you have a husband problem too. He is enabling Jeremy's terrible behavior. This was not a prank. This was a horrific attack that could have had legal consequences if you'd called the police. If you don't get your husband on side, you need to recognize that Jeremy's behavior is likely going to get worse because your husband isn't going to do a single thing about it. Edit also. Reach out to the parents of the boy who came clean and congratulate them on raising an honest son who can stand up to his friends when they are wrong. He's awesome. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. And #X200B. Because you have let this shit go on to the point your teen prankster doesn't face consequences, and from what you said of his dad, he never will. You need to nip this shit in the bud, ground his ass, and, I don't know, make him pay the cost of the housekeeper's wages for a month, or the price of the stolen jewelry. You are an asshole for letting this go for so long. And #X200B. And your husband is an asshole for saying you should trust your son over the help. Am I the asshole for not letting my son get a dog? My son, 18, lives with me in a condo I own. We have 2 cats that we've had for 10 years. About 2 months ago, he announced that he is getting a dog. I said no. There are reasons I won't allow it for now. 1. We both work and I feel it's unfair to leave a dog inside 9+ hours too. Our WA only allows 2 pets and we have 2 pets. 3. When one of the cats recently had a UTI, I asked him to give her a dose or 2 of her antibiotics when I was not home, and he refused. So he's unwilling to care for the pets we already have. He says he prefers to be homeless with a dog than live under my oppression. He's so oppressed in that I only ask $130 per mo to cover a portion of his monthly car insurance. He also states that he has already paid to have the dog neutered and it arrives mid-February, as it's currently being fostered by a family he knows. No. That dog is not coming here. Am I the asshole? I have told him that by January 31st, he needs to show proof of obtaining his own car insurance. An 18-year-old male with 1 speeding ticket is likely $300 per mo or so. Rent in Denver for a 1BD is at least $1,200 per mo. I gave him a budgeting worksheet to help him decide if 100% of everything plus a dog is really better than $130 and no dog. He says he's leaving. I'll be changing the locks. Not the asshole. I had the same conversation with my mother when I was about your son's age. Her response was I can have as many dogs as I want when I move out. Open mouth smile. I finally got a dog when I was about 30. She asked how much he cost. The next time I saw her she handed me an envelope of cash and said, "Never say I didn't get you a bloody dog." Tears of joy. Not the asshole. He says he prefers to be homeless with a dog than live under my oppression. That offer is always on the table. Also, what are the odds he wanted your cat to die so he could get a dog? Not the asshole. You are already full up on critters. He doesn't take care of the ones you have already. Besides that, it's a condo with 2 cats. Adding even another cat, let alone a dog, would be too many for a small place. It's against the rules on top of all that. Beyond that, he says he prefers to be homeless with a dog than live under my oppression. Adios, kid, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Gimme a call when you realize how much harder it is out there. Not the asshole. He prefers to be homeless with a dog. How selfish do you have to be willing to expose an animal to homelessness, just so you can have it in your life? Not the asshole. Your son doesn't realize the responsibility a dog entails. We both work and I feel it's unfair to leave a dog inside 9+ hours. This is all the reason you need. There's been a ton of studies that show dogs shouldn't be left alone for more than 6 hours at a time. Dogs can develop a range of behavioral issues if left alone too long. Not the asshole. If your adult son wants a dog so bad, he can go get his own apartment to have one. You may wish to suggest also he find his own living arrangements and car insurance since he wants to make adult decisions unilaterally in direct violation of your desires and WA agreement. 1. He's getting a dog. 2. He can't have the dog in your house. 3. He is an adult. He has options. He is in control. I hope he has a plan for number 3. You are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for going off on my husband for saying this to the kids? My husband and I have 2 kids, 13 female, 11 male. Right now we are going through some financial struggles and we ended up losing so many of our belongings to be able to pay off mortgage debts. The kids have been more than understanding of our situation and they help with whatever they can. My son even offered that we sell his computer to get money, which was sweet, but I insisted he didn't have to. My daughter draws perfectly and she's been selling few of her works to friends online to buy stuff for our house. All in all, let me just say that I'm proud and grateful for my kids and their efforts to help out. So days ago, we went to visit my family and my brother was talking to my husband about our debt struggles. My husband loves our house dearly and swore he would not lose it no matter what happens. My brother then asked him what he'd do if he couldn't afford next month's payment and my husband just looked at the kids and said, "Well, guess then I'll have to adopt you 2 out." The kids get quiet. I look at them with a stunned look on my face as they get up from their seats and make their way upstairs. The rest of the family just stare awkwardly. Few seconds in and I went off on my husband about what he told the kids and how cruel his words were. He defended himself that he was just messing with them, but that stuff is damaging both emotionally and mentally, and to say this to the kids after they had showed nothing but support? That was so messed up. He lashed back saying I overreacted and needed to loose up and drop it, but I refused to do that. I followed the kids upstairs and stayed there. They were actually crying when I found them in the room. I felt awful and didn't speak to my husband after that. I did demand that he apologize and make it up to the kids and he said no and insisted he was just messing with them. Am I the asshole? He said I offended him in front of the family. Not the asshole. He may have meant it at a joke, but it wasn't received that way. He's in the wrong and you should absolutely stand up for your kids. Not the asshole. If the kids are crying it's definitely not funny, he's an ass. Wow, not the asshole. He may have meant it as a joke but clearly no one took it that way. That is just disrespectful to your kids and cruel. I could never imagine even making that joke to my kids. Everyone sucks here. Why are children this young around for such a conversation? Why on earth would someone ask you what you would do if you couldn't make a payment in front of your children? Was your husband supposed to say that you would lose the home and you'd all be homeless? His comment was awful, like really hurtful, but he wasn't really left with many good alternatives, was he? Stop making your very young children part of your very big problem. They should not feel the weight of the world on their shoulders at this age. Ask your family not to talk about your finances in front of them either. Not the asshole. My dad used to make jokes like that, and it hurts hearing stuff like that. It affects your idea of self-worth. At least it did for me. If your kids were actually crying about it, then he should be understanding and apologize to them and talk to them about it to come an understanding. You don't involve your kids in your money issues. And I hope you will be paying your daughter back when you can afford to for what she has given you. It is not a kid's job to provide income for the family. And is there really no other housing option? The comment that your husband RLY loves the house and doesn't want to lose it has me suspicious that you are choosing to live here rather than having no other option. Only people who don't suck is the kids. Not the asshole. No, that's fucked up. If he's concerned about being offended in front of the family, maybe he shouldn't traumatize his own kids in front of them. Your kids sound like gems and you are rightfully proud of them, but even if they were having a tough time with your financial struggles, they still would never deserve a comment like that. Why are y'all having conversations like this in front of your kids? Your brothers shouldn't be bringing shit like this up while the kids are in the same room. Your husband's joke was taken badly and he should have apologized. Honestly, I'm surprised it bothered your kids that much though. My dad made that same dumb dad joke a million times when I was growing up. Just not in the same context. You better clean your room before I adopt you out, ha ha ha. Am I the asshole for turning my wife's workout room into an office despite getting a no from her? Throwaway and all that. I genuinely don't know if I fucked up or not, so we'll see. So I am 32, struggled with lack of employment for several months. I finally got a job opportunity that requires me to work from home, and for that I needed a quiet space, which is hard to find in a 3-room apartment with 2 kids. My wife has a workout room with all of her working equipment. I asked if she'd let me have it so I could turn it into an office for my work, and she said, no discussions, no compromises, just, no, man. I tried to reason with her and explained to her why an office is more needed than an exercise room, but to no avail. No is still no. I thought that she was being unsupportive and unappreciative of the fact that I'm trying to make us money to provide for the family. I waited for her to leave the apartment, then had all her workout stuff out and turned the room into an office away from the noise and distraction. She came home and lost her shit on me for doing this and yelled that I was being inconsiderate of her struggles with keeping fit and healthy, since she has a number of disorders that she only manages via working out, but I took that away from her. I explained to her that I have a stronger cause because I need the room so I can work and again earn us money to keep a roof over our heads. Yet she called me a manipulative, an abusive sob for going behind her back and kicking her out the room like this. She demanded I put everything back, but I said no and even told her she was being a child throwing a temper tantrum over silly shit and not giving a shit about my work conditions when she should be accommodating me. She told me to fuck off since this is her apartment too and I had no right to steal her room. She's sulking to the fullest degree now and is trying to get me to put everything back. Am I the asshole? Neither of you is willing to compromise. You could have turned this room into an half and half, but neither of you considered that option. You're both acting like children. I have 2 kids with disorders that can only be managed with a physical exercise regimen. It's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Your wife's struggle is real. As real as your need for employment. That is zero reason for you two to not be willing to work together and compromise. 1. Do you both need the entire room? I work from home and my desk is approximately 5 by 3. It's only that long because I actually have to use 2 computers. 2. Can she not work out on equipment in there when you're not working? 3. Can you not arrange furniture in the master bedroom or living room to accommodate a desk for you to work at? You both are married with kids. At 32, you both should be adult enough to work together on this issue. Quit with this "my need is more important than your need" bullshit. Hold up. So you have 2 kids, 3 bedrooms. So the kids are currently sharing a room so that your wife can work out sometimes? Maybe the house would be quieter if you weren't forcing 2 children into one room. Info. Unless she has an entire gym in the room which she uses 8 hours a day. Is there a reason you can't share the room? Everyone sucks here, you both suck. Neither of you are acting like the grown-ass adults with children that you are. Communication and compromise would solve all these issues. Our house has similar size constraints to your apartment and our exercise bike is in the same room as my husband's office. Is it slightly inconvenient for me to not be able to work out while he's working? Sure. Is it kind of annoying for him to have an exercise bike so close to his desk? Absolutely. Do we make it work because we're adults who understand compromise is key in a partnership? You betcha we do. Everyone sucks here, you can't share the room? Unless it's a broom closet, I don't understand why you two didn't just split the room down the middle. You guys sound like you have very poor communication skills and I don't see a bright future for your marriage if you keep up like this. You're both acting like children. Grow up and get over yourselves.